Some inventors leave behind legacies that change the world. Others leave behind cautionary tales. But on rare occasions, some inventors leave both. The story you are about to watch is more of a cautionary tale than legacy. And it is about the flying Tailor, whose work affected modern-day parachutes. In the early 1900s, Franz Reichelt was a Paris tailor with an insane obsession that had nothing to do with dresses or suits. He wanted to give pilots something they didn't have, a way to survive a fall from the sky. Airplanes were new, fragile, and dangerous, and the parachutes of the time were far too heavy and bulky for pilots to use in emergencies. Franz's solution? A parachute suit. It was going to be a garment that could be worn like an overcoat, with hidden wings of silk that would unfurl in midair. This invention was bold, it was stylish, but would it save lives? The production and trial began immediately, and between 1910 and 1912, Franz tested his design over and over. He dropped dummies from the 5th floor of his apartment. Some landings were gentle, most weren't. Then he moved to dropping them from taller buildings. But his failures didn't deter him. He pushed further, testing the suit on himself and jumping himself from modest heights. He even risked a broken leg in the process during an 8-meter test. But these didn't seem enough for him. He wanted to become an inventor by all means. Rather than blame himself and his choice of material or manufacturing process, he blamed the height. He believed the heights he tested the suit from wasn't enough for the chute to fully open. The next thing he did changed the trajectory of his life. Franz set his sights on the tallest structure in Paris, the Eiffel Tower. Why this structure? The prestigious Aero Club de France, a society dedicated to advancing aviation, had been organizing parachute trials there. Also, Franz needed their approval, but Aero Club de France's rules were strict. One of the rules states that tests had to be done using dummies. Franz agreed, at least on paper. So they let him do the test. On a freezing February morning in 1912, Franz arrived at the tower. Crowds gathered. Cameramen set up. Everyone expected a mannequin to make the leap. But Franz was wearing the parachute suit himself. Friends tried to talk him out of it. He refused. After years of ridicule and failed attempts, this was his chance to prove the world wrong. Will he succeed? Let's find out. Franz climbed to the first platform, 57 meters above the ground. He looked over the edge, waved to the crowd, and said with a smile, "See you soon?" Then he jumped. What happened next was captured on film and would cement his nickname, the Flying Tailor, forever. Franz's parachute barely opened before folding in on itself, and within seconds, he plunged straight to the frozen ground at the base of the tower. By the time people reached him, he was already gone. His body was taken to the Necker Hospital, where doctors officially pronounced him dead, then to a police station on Rue Amélie, before finally being returned to his home on Rue Gaillon. The next day, newspapers branded him the reckless inventor and the Flying Tailor. Newsreels replayed the fatal jump for stunned viewers. Franz's ambition, so meticulously sown and so bold, had cost him everything. Years later, journalist Edouard Launay wrote in Liberation that an autopsy suggested Franz may have suffered a heart attack in mid-fall, dying before he even hit the ground. Franz's suit never went into production. His design did not directly lead to modern wearable parachutes, but his work is remembered as one of the earliest and most daring attempts to merge fashion with function in aviation safety. He didn't live to see a working model. He didn't live to see the day parachutes became standard equipment for pilots, but his ambition, stitched together from silk and stubbornness, ensured his name would be remembered. Not for the lives he saved, but for the one he lost.